Good morning. Thank you for invitation. What is happening is the result of a targeted political strategy implemented by the current authorities of Moldova within the framework of the principle of divide and rule. A defining characteristic of the Action and Solidarity Party is its inability to engage in constructive dialogue and seek compromise solutions. On the contrary, it is pursuing a policy to polarize society along several lines, including national and religious. The Metropolitan of Bessarabia's claims on church under the jurisdiction of the Moldovan Orthodox Church have no legal basis, as the vast majority of churches were built when Parisians were part of this particular church structure. In this regard, it should be recalled that the transfer of certain buildings in Chisinau to the metropolis of Bessarabia in 2023 was personally requested by the Romanian Patriarch Daniel during his meeting with the President of Moldovan Parliament, Igor Grosu. And the transfer of the temple of Stara Dubassari took place at the same time as the visit of the Romanian parliamentary delegation, which discussed with the Bessarabian and probably with the Moldovan authorities the issue of the return of church property to Moldova. This showed the Romanian brothers' enormous influence on the Moldovan political elite. The Moldovan authorities could take any state-owned church away from the CMO, Church Moldovan Orthodox. Similar to Ukraine, where the authorities justified the termination of contracts with the canonical church with alleged deficiencies in church maintenance, a similar process can be initiated in Moldova. Even a church can be taken away where the so-called transition of the community from the CMO to the metropolis of Bessarabia has taken place. This process is illegal, or at least controversial. The concept of transition does not exist in Moldovan legislation. From the point of view of the Orthodox canons, such transitions represent a deviation into schism, and from the point of view of law, an expropriation of church by marauders, since the supporters of the Romanian church not only change jurisdiction, but also seize the church property. For example, in October 2024, Romanian politician Claudiu Tirfiu stated that one of the conditions for the European integration of Moldova was the restitution of the property of the Romanian Patriarchate. In June 2025, a parliamentary delegation from Bucharest, during its visit to the metropolis of Bessarabia, discussed the issue of the restitution of church property, against the transfer of Moldovan church and monasteries to the Romanian ecclesiastical structure. In a current situation, it is necessary to intensify the activities of information to prevent further escalation of conflict by the Metropolia of Bessarabia, which is foreign, and to protect Moldova's constitutional order. The only civilized way to resolve such disputes is to build new churches using voluntary donation and not to attempt to expropriate the property of others. When, for geopolitical interest, a blind eye is turned to the violation of fundamental freedoms, the risk is that the very essence of European values is called into question. It turns out that democracy, freedom of speech, and the rule of law are essential only in theory. Still, they can be ignored if the government declares itself willing to fight pro-Russian influence. According to some sources, Metropolitan Vladimir of Chisinau and Moldova is also under big pressure. The reason is the firm and Christianly honest stance of the CMO leader, who refused to break canonically unity with the Mother Church. Sandu's primary goal is to obtain public approval of the path to European integration and a declaration on sovereign relation with the Russian Orthodox Church after the same election. Suppose Metropolitan Vladimir yields to pressure from the authorities. In the case, the Church of Moldova will face the future of a semi-legal schismatic structure from the point of view of real world orthodoxy. If Vladimir resists at the current Moldovan government's line is maintained, we can foresee the situation evolving according to Ukrainian scenario. If a Metropolitan Vladimir were to officially state the CMO considers the proposed form of European integration undesirable, for example, because they entail the intensification of LGBT policy, or if prefer following the majority of the country's parishioners, an independent Moldova, the news around the church nick would probably tighten. The reasons for the silence of the CMO leadership, the Synod, Metropolitan Vladimir, and other bishops are unclear. We do not consider ourselves authorized to advise the CMO hierarchy, but a position of detachment, as the Ukrainian experience has shown, as a consequence. At the contrary, the Archbishop of Balti and Falesti, Marcel Miaescu, criticized, for example, not only this political, but the detention of governor of Gagauzia, where a Turkish-speaking Christian Orthodox minority lives, Eugenia Gutsul, expressing his civil and Christian stance. Representative of the clergy of the Chisinau Metropolia also spoke out in support of Gutsul. Prayers for Eugenia's health are being recited in the parishes of the Orthodox Church of Moldova, and Marcel invited everyone to attend a vigil in support of the governor. The Gutsul case, according to the monks, is considered a judgment against the autonomy of the region of Gagauzia. A social survey published in recent months revealed that only 15% of respondents identify with the Romanian Orthodox Church, while 73% identify with the Russian Church. Everything here follows the Ukrainian model. The canonical Orthodox Church of Moldova is the end of after this trial. Democracy looks like a dirty word. Maja Sendu's position is difficult because of Transnistria Pridnestrovia. She can cope with Gagauzia, but not with Pridnestrovia. This kind of policy leads to losing territory, which is a matter of time. Meanwhile, in Moldova, Orthodox Church launched the project The Faith, which provides legal assistance to all parishes and clergy in defense of the church interests, protecting them from the illegal actions of police. In recent days, in a village of Greenauzi, for example, the situation is very hard. Internationally, some voices were raised in the defense of the Moldovan Orthodox Church and against Sandu's policy. For example, Belgian deputy Barbara Bont has sent an official request to the European Commission demanding a review of Moldova's status as an European Union candidate country. This appeal is due to the systematic violation of religious freedom against the parishioners and clergy of the Moldova Metropolia, which is in canonical unity with the Moscow Patriarchate. The basis of document is to be found in a report by the Lithuanian human rights organization, sorry for pronunciation, Žmogus Teisių Apsauga, presented to a United Nations Human Rights Council session. The document describes the numerous cases of pressure by the Moldovan authorities, attempt to ban MOC activities, the detention of Archbishop Marcel at the airport during Easter, forced seizures of church by representatives of the metropolis of Bessarabia without intervention by state bodies, administrative persecutions, and fines against the faithful. We hope that our intervention today can also contribute to resolving this situation. Thank you.